This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, October 30th, 2019. Taking a look at the 5 minute of the day today. Pretty much a flat open. We had a bearish candle right before the open, and then the opening candle on the 5 minute was a bullish engulfing. And then we just made some inside candles, which was really nice and just showed some indecision, especially this one. Really high wave candle and a really small body. And so from there, we actually broke out of these three candles. Let me just zoom in because there wasn't too much interaction with yesterday in terms of the price movement. So let's just look at today. So you see the triangle here. Let me sketch it. There we go. Okay. So here's the triangle. Really nice small triangle. Breaks out, retests. I don't know if all this wick was real, but could definitely be. Definitely came back down into the apex, the kind of the point of the triangle here, and bounced. And from there, just really ran. And we've been seeing like 1781 be a really nice. That's not it. 1781. No, I can't draw straight again. There you go. 1781 being really nice. It's level. It's the midpoint between 1815 and 1747, and we just couldn't quite get there. What's really interesting is we pulled way back and then put in some nice small stair steps here, and really came back and retested kind of the same level of the bodies here. Even did that again right at 1 o'clock, which was interesting too because there was a FOMC meeting, and usually that does something in the market. In this case today, we had a nice bounce, off that same level really, that retested and S-curved up and came back up to this same high, but actually got back up to 1781. So some really interesting movements today. A lot that were really bullish and off of some good levels of the day. Once we opened up with this candle, this 5 minute candle, we didn't take out that low. The closest we came was this lower wick. This in itself is a really nice hammer candle. The lower wick is about double the size of the body here. So about a third for the body and 2/3 for the lower wick. That's just a textbook hammer at a support, and as a retest of kind of this breakout. And so you have an S-curve here, and then you had another bigger S-curve here. And there was opportunities to be getting in bullish, in some of this move. This was another nice hammer. It was just a really nice day of hammers. Even this candle, it's hammer-ish, sort of. It's a little bit more high wave because it's got the upper wick. But the lower wick size is, it's pretty close to double the size of the body. It would just be nice to not have as much of an upper wick or have the body fill all the way back up to the high here. So mostly bullish, but there was a couple times to go bearish. This is a really nice evening star reversal here. And then we rolled over at that same level, really, really close to that same level here. And so somebody could have been fading this back down. There's just opportunities to go both directions. There were clear pivot points that were established, during the day. So, buying here, buying here, buying here, shorting here, even shorting here, and it just didn't work out. So there were just some really good levels today. So if we jump over and look at some calls, let's see, I didn't get all this ready. So I'm looking at the 1800 calls that expire on Friday, and really this level here, right around $2. You could have really, just waited for this to go bullish and gotten in on the retest, really getting in like 2x1 or 2x150, and just, take that for a ride up. And then we come all the way back down to that $2 level a number of times. And you could have really been buying each one. It's just, what's the target then? This one, all of this, it just didn't get going, it just kind of chopped around right around the $2 price. This was the FOMC that broke out, that ran from 2 all the way up almost to 4, came back, gave you another entry right at 2, and then ran all the way actually to 4. So 2 to 4 was a nice move. If we get a little closer, like the 1775 calls, they're just going to be much more expensive. And let's see what levels we could have been looking at here. So a little harder to do $100 risk on 1775, mainly because, I mean, look at the size of this candle here. You would have really had to wait for the day to just calm down, and it pulled back into the $8 price through here. And again, it just took a little longer to get going. The FOMC was here, so it didn't come all the way back down to 8, but you could have been getting in 9 by 8, taking the profits, on its way up here, or had you held on, it came back down, gave you another opportunity to do 9 by 8, and that ran up to pretty much the high on the option, about 15. So there were a couple opportunities there as well. Looking at the puts, let's see. If we look at 1750, what did that do? Just kind of grinded lower. So we had the initial run up that put in this candle, or this pivot. So 4 by 3 for this evening star reversal. So the evening star reversal, you could have been getting in at 10:05 or 10:10 after this had formed. And that was 205, 1010. So really getting in 4 by 3, and then it just grinded and made it to 6. So it could have made 2R. If you're closer to at the money, the 1775 puts would have been this. And yeah, this was a little more expensive and a whole lot less volume. This would have been much harder to trade. I mean, even just one of the candles from the evening star reversal, it was $100 range, or $70 range, 74. Okay, so this just would have been harder to get the exact candle that it was going to pivot on. And had you waited, I mean, it shows that it came down to 1105. Maybe you could have been filled 11 by 10. But you have to be right. And you want to set up trades that the probability is in your favor and you can mitigate your risk, but you don't necessarily have to be right. That's really what a lot of trading is about. If you're not right, or it's going to take too long for you to be right, well, then you're kind of wrong. This is just 1760 put. I'm just throwing another put in here. It's got decent volume. You got the morning star reversal on the option, evening star reversal back over on the stock, and this gave you a level 6 by 5 that looks like it would have actually been okay. 6 by 5, that went up to 8, even 9. But that was really the only bearish play. These didn't really work out as well as this one did here. So I would have, I think, stuck with bullish. If we look at where we actually opened up, we're slightly down, gapping slightly down. So it makes sense to retrace some of that to the close. It just retraced and then kept going. And it was really doing that retracement on that opening 15 minutes. The 21 moving average here is 1764.73. And yeah, we're right into that price on the 5-minute. So we made it up to a high of 1766. So we're just past that level. But this is looking really nice rest. All of this, obviously except for earnings not being very restful. But today we made slightly higher highs and higher lows. Had a slight increase in volume. The momentum hasn't shifted to bearish yet, if it's going to. What I would look for tomorrow is a really small gap up. So any bears, are definitely trapped. Small gap up, retest, and hold right around some of these highs, some of these closes. So we have a close here on this day at 1780.78, close on this day 1777.08, close on this day 1779.99. So right around 1780 seems to be a really nice price just recently. So I'm going to expand that to 1781. and just say, okay, if we can get a gap up and hold above 1781, and it's just, again, it's the midpoint price of this range. We've been really held down below that in this lower half. And I know we've had that happen before. Let's see if we can find when that was, where we got into a range. It may have been one of these. We just got stuck in like half of a range. I remember that happening. I don't remember when. I don't know if I drew a line through it. This was one of them. So we stayed, we kept having opens and closes in above the midpoint of this range. We never really got a close below that 50% mark. Here's another close one. We came down here and we mostly stayed, above the midpoint of that range. Let's see if there's any more going back a little further. No, not really there. So what does that mean for us now? Being in the range we're in. I think it's just continue to build some momentum, even though you got the momentum here still bullish, and now we are 7 bars into the squeeze. I think this just looks like it's setting up the potential to go up more. Now, if we gap up and end up fading, kind of like we gapped down and faded today, just get ready to trade it that way, and don't be so directional, because we are in an indecision point here. We've been making lower highs, but we've also been making relative lows, and we're forming this like massive triangle here. And it's just really, if I shift this, let's see if that'll work. I mean, it's not so much a clean triangle now, because we made this level that didn't get back up to this downtrend, and then had you drawn this, you drawn this like over here, well, this could be like the breakout of that. This angle here fits a little better with one of these. So let's duplicate this and just, oops, not what I meant to do. There we go. Let's just duplicate that and see what's going on there. Come on. Do we line up with anything? If I move this, okay. So that angle, if I just grab this point and these points, we start to get above that. It totally didn't work here. We faded right on up through that. And then I don't really know what that is lining up with. I don't really see anything there. So I guess what I can do, no, I can't move that one. What I'm going to do, oh no, I grabbed the wrong point. Okay, where are the endpoints? There we go. I'm going to draw this one right down here. And then I'm going to bring this one back down to here. Just show, okay, we've got our same angles, our same framework. I'm not putting anything new, distance-wise, but I'm going to show that we've got a clear resistance here, another one in here and in here, and then we broke through that, which totally makes sense. We broke out of this consolidation here, broke through that, came back and gapped down below this, but still got back above. So this is showing that there's some more happening that's much more bullish. I still like this downtrend channel here, but we're starting to break it a little bit. We're not really following that line. So I think it's something I can get rid of really soon. But if this trend works out, and gosh, man, if I had just drawn this, on the same purple line and then gone up to like the highs here, I mean, you could really have picked where we were going to roll over. I'm going to just lower this slightly because I want to get, all right, let's see how this looks now. I want to get this high, just about that high or that close, these highs, and then that goes right through the 21, right through that level. And I guess in a way, this is an X marks the spot. It's 1714.50 on this day. And so that's really fitting to what we've done before. I think this is something that I should have drawn in, and it would have given us, I mean, once these two candles came in, this would have given us so much more framework to have this. This was an island reversal, sort of, because we got up above it here. But as we were going through here, I was comparing this to some other things we were doing. Let's see, we were gapping. Which one was that? We were doing some gaps. So just this? Yeah, it was this. Okay, so we had 3 candles, 2 candles. We kind of broke down there. This one we had 3 candles, 2 candles, 2 candles, 3 candles, and then I thought, okay, we'll gap up above, but we were held down. This is why. I mean, not necessarily why, but is at a clear level where there's some resistance here, and the edge was definitely bearish at this point. I mean, this is a downtrend channel. It worked before to short the high, worked really well to short the high back down to here, and give you another opportunity here. Now, what's really interesting is right now where we're at, sorry, not right now. When we were here, you would have thought, okay, we'll get this breakdown. We'll get back down to this line down here, just like we had this breakdown here to here. And I think I drew that this move from here to here. No, maybe I didn't draw that one. Draw something. No, I think I drew like this one from here down to here. I was on the right track. Had I drawn from here to here and then lined that up from like here to wherever it was down here, it kind of would have suggested we should break down below this candle. We'll continue lower. And instead we held this. So again, this looks like a really nice hammer. We've held the relative lows of the 1670s, 1665, that area. And we're just kind of hovering around here. So we'll see if we can go put an inside candle in that's bearish. That'd be great. And then break out. But I have a feeling things may break out because we ended, above this day. So we've got a little bit of a bullish move. And if we gap up, look for a retest, look for, even on the 5-minute, if we can get a bearish candle like this to open us up, or a couple of them, if we do some bearish candles like this instead of bullish ones and then break out, I mean, that's the trade to really watch for. But each of these have had some really nice retracements. So it breaks out, it retraces. It breaks out, it retraces. So if it does that sort of thing again tomorrow, look for a breakout and a retest. It doesn't have to come all the way back down to like an apex. This one, it did actually come back down to these kind of resistance here. It definitely didn't have to. So just be ready to get in on the candle that is, candle that you like for your setup. Seeing the hammer here, I should have just gotten into this right after that hammer. It just would have been a quick trade, or as this hammer is just about to close, it's like, okay, that's going to be a hammer. I'm going to set my entry. I'm going to get in, or you got 25, 30 minutes to allow it to come back to the same level and get in here because it retested. Now you could have made money right here and then gotten out. And you could have made money right here and then gotten out. So there's other ways to play this if you're nimble enough. But yeah, we're just kind of grinding up a little bit, and we'll see if we can really get something moving. That'd be ideal. So we'll see if something happens the rest of this week. Tomorrow's the end of October, and then we got 1st of November to wrap up this week. So with being Halloween in the States, hopefully nothing too scary happens in the market, but we'll see if we can get some bullishness to come in here and continue moving higher. So hope this helps. This is Justin, AMZN. Thanks.